Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me on Defining Moments. I am so excited to have my friend, a very dear friend of mine, and you're going to enjoy our conversation. He is the person of Mayor George Flax. He is one of the most approachable, one of the most efficient, effective public servants you'll ever meet. Stay tuned. Call your friends and families. Join us. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Defining Moments. I'm your host, Larry Nix, and I tell you, sir, I am so excited that you have joined me today. I know that there are things that you could be doing. I know that you have other obligations, but the fact that you land here every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for 60 minutes, I am grateful for that. We have listeners and viewers from all over the place. That's not a narcissistic or a prideful statement, but I want to let you know I see you. I see you in the marketplace. I even see you when I'm traveling. I told the story the Tuesday that I was flying out a day trip, and one of the TSA agents says, listen, you're Larry Nix and you host Defining Moments. And that was a couple of weeks ago, and it was on a Wednesday. She said, well, who's going to do your program tomorrow? I said, it's just a day trip. I'll be back. And she said to me, I appreciate your program because it's such an inspirational program. So I appreciate you, Miss TSA agent. I appreciate all of you, whether you're streaming from Michigan, Tennessee, Los Angeles, Tampa, Nashville, Atlanta. In fact, here's my friend, my aunt, streaming in all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Aunt Dean. So happy to see you. I appreciate each of you, and know that I pray for you. Well, I know many of you because you text me and you Zoom in and you get comments, but you may say, you don't know me. Well, you know what? That's not necessarily important. You want to know why I say that? I say that because the Lord knows you, and because I know the Lord and He knows you. Then when I pray for you, then all is well. So I got to tell you what, I'm not going to do a long monologue today because I am excited to have a very dear friend of mine. We've known one another over 25 years, and I'm delighted to have him in this program. We've been scheduling, we've been working through his schedule really for the last couple of years. It's not the fact that he hadn't wanted to be on this program, but when you are charged with a heavy mammoth task, then your schedule kind of run you. You don't run the schedule kind of run you. And so he is the person of Mayor George Flax Jr. Typically, I don't read a lengthy bio, and if I read all of his body of work, we'd be here for 5 days. But for those of you, particularly if you live outside of the state of Mississippi and you're not familiar with this person, then I think it is just of me for me to share with you at least some of his body of work. Mayor George Flax Jr., he is recognized as one of the most effective state of Mississippi legislators and city mayors in the past 30-plus years. Why? It has been said that he is more interested in serving people than in serving himself. Let me say that again. People say it is very common amongst people that they say he is one of the most effective and approachable people, one of the most approachable mayors and policymakers in the state of Mississippi over the past 30 years. Why? Because he is more interested in serving people than he is in serving himself. George Flax Jr. was sworn in for his third term as mayor of the city of Vicksburg on July 1st, 2021, after winning 68% of the vote. Man, that's a landslide. Taking the oath of office for his first time on June 30th, 2013, his second term of July 2nd, 2017. Before becoming the city's chief executive, George Flax represented his legislative district in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1988 to 2013. He served as the chairman of Corrections, Juvenile Justice, and Banking and Finance committees in the House of Representatives, and was an active member of, here we go, which is a lofty position, Appropriations, Constitution, Legislative Budget, Public Health, and Human Services, and Rules Committee. George Flaggs also chaired the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus and was the only elected official to be named one of Mississippi's most influential African Americans of 2019, and was appointed by the now sitting Governor Tate Reeves, to lead the search committee for a new corrections commissioner for the state of Mississippi. Mayor Flaggs has championed a transparent city government in Vicksburg, and he is committed to growth and serving the people. Under Mayor Flaggs' leadership, taxpayers have seen groundbreaking quality of life improvements, the creation of innovative economic development policies, and the unprecedented pro-business environment that will benefit and has benefited Vicksburg for generations to come. He's earned his AA Associate's degree from Hines Community College, his BS from Jackson State University. And Mayor Flaggs and his wife Valencia have 3 adult children and 6 grandchildren, and he is of the Baptist faith. Now, let me tell you something. If you're around him long enough, you will find out that he is a man of extreme wisdom. Some people have to think and contemplate what to say, but when you are around a sage statesman like George Flaggs, you pull out your pen and you start taking notes. I remember him saying this about 20 years ago. Mayor Flaggs, you may have forgotten that you said this. I heard you say this, and I said, this is profound. He said, and one of his quotes is, if the airplane that you're flying across the Atlantic Ocean is having problems, you don't care if the pilot is Democrat or Republican. You just want the best pilot who can fly and land the plane. The second quote I'll never forget, and in fact I've used that many times in doing various presentations. You said, if the airplane develops a problem over the Atlantic Ocean and you can't land the plane in the ocean, you have to fix it in flight.
Absolutely.
And that is profound. Just sitting here this morning prior to the program, he shared some more words of wisdoms and nuggets. He said, what matters most, what matters is what matters most. What matters is what matters most. All right? Then he said, you have to know what you don't know. You have to know what you don't know. So now let me go back. First of all, Mayor, the esteemed, the honorable, my friend. Hello, Sister Winsley. Thank you for joining us. Mayor George Flaggs, my friend, long overdue. Thank you and welcome to Defining Moments.
Well, thank you, Reverend Hicks. It's a great honor to be here. I'm very humble, and at the same time, I'm excited as you were about being on this show. You've been a great leader and mentor. You didn't know that, but I'll tell you that because of the fact that as you pastored in Vicksburg,
yes,
I followed you, and I got a lot of insight from you as I represented the state, as state representative. But you was gone when I started out as mayor in 2013.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I'm honored and I'm humbled that someone at your stature would give me the kudos that you would, and I sincerely mean that. You've said something. We're not going to talk about politics unless you want to talk about politics. But when people see you're a Mississippi treasure. I say that, not you, because you're a very humble man, and you wouldn't say that. But you're a Mississippi treasure. You've done a lot of firsts. You've paved the way for a lot of folk, including myself. And you're a pioneer, and you've blazed the trail. And you have a unique capacity to develop relationships and to walk in doors that other people wouldn't dare walk in, or be invited into doors that other people have not been invited in. And I have figured this out, that it is because you work for the good of people and not for yourself. But I remember you saying this because you were on a talk show about 20 years ago, and this person interviewing you said, Mayor, you at that point, I think you were a Democrat or you're independent, says, but you're able to walk across the aisle. You're able to work across the aisle. And that's when you made the statement. I don't care if the pilot is Democrat or Republican. If it's in trouble, you don't care who's flying it. You just want the best person. Where did that sentiment come from?
Well, when we get on the plane, we never ask.
Never do.
We never ask what the pile of Republican, Democrat. We never ask a doctor whether they Republican, Democrat. We just want the service. And so what I try to do is to get the service and make certain that I can benefit from the service. But remember this though, Pastor Hicks. My daddy said that if you're not at the table, you can't get served.
Ooh, that's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. And I see right now, many of you, some of your constituents from Vicksburg are tuning in right now. You know Zell Marie Murphy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you all. I need to pay attention while I have this man in the studio right now. So that's important. You if you're not at the table, you can't get served.
No, you can't get served. And what he say that if you're not in the room, you can't be heard. There's a lot of things that go with that, and that is because I used to be the only person of color in a room, and I went home to my dad and I said, Daddy, that I'm the only person of color in the room. He said, you know what that means? You got to represent us.
Wow, yeah. And you can't get fed if you're not at the table.
Absolutely not.
So what is the inspiration behind you saying if the plane is in flight over the Atlantic Ocean, you can't land the plane, you got to fix it in flight? Where did that inspiration come from?
Well, it matters not. If you are in trouble and you in a flight pattern and it doesn't work, you got to do what you got to do, and that is save your life first, and then at the same time, of course, I say some other things first. I always say, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not thy own understanding in all thy ways. Acknowledge him. I'm going to say that everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what you have to do, you have to understand where you are and why you're there. And then that works.
Oh, that's good. You, and once again, you have never, as long as I've known you to be a man of faith. I have never known you to shy away from your faith, to apologize for your faith. I've never known you to push back from your faith. How important, and you were a successful legislator. You were a phenomenal mayor for the city of Vicksburg. How has your faith played a role in you being able to govern and you being able to determine policy and you being able to care for the people that the Lord has given you stewardship over?
Well, faith is everything. Faith is what guides you. Faith will give you instruction. Faith will give you the knowledge that you acquire. And so you have to always use that faith to say, and I always say you have to give God the glory and the honor for that faith. But faith and focus is what matters most.
Faith and focus
is what matters most. And that's because of the fact that you have to look at it razor focus, and then at the same time you must know that your faith will land you on your feet every time.
You know, you said that earlier, faith and focus, and you said I talked to you about organizational skills. You brought a great body of knowledge into that mayor's chair as a result of your experience of being a legislator. How did that help you in your current seat, and how does it help you your previous lawmaking experience?
Well, what it does, it gives you a guide. It gives you structure. And if I had not been in the legislature prior to being mayor, I would have been lost.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in and joining us. You stay tuned. I am with the Honorable George Flaggs, Mayor of City of Vicksburg, on Defining Moments. Stay tuned. So nothing is lost. You're saying that where your previous responsibility in the state legislature, it prepared you for being mayor.
Absolutely, because it's all in the preparation. If you can't prepare yourself to go, you can't go. It's just that simple.
Wait, Mayor. It's just so many notes I can take. If you can't prepare to go, you just can't go. Or if you're not prepared to go,
you can't go. I mean, it's like if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's what makes sense to me. And that's why I say you got to know what you don't know. And it comes I can't explain it, but it comes in a way that guides me. I tell you what, most folks don't know I do. I read the Bible, a prayer book for men, and a
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I am delighted. And let me say this, no offense to any of my other guests, because we've had some phenomenal guests on this program from all over the country. But I am so delighted to have my friend, my dear friend, the Honorable George Flaggs, who is the proficient mayor of the city of Vicksburg. We've been friends for over 25 years, and there's not a time that I've called Mayor Flaggs, or he was state legislator Flaggs, that he did not take my phone call and he made himself available. But I know how busy you are, Mayor. But yet you don't seem to be stressed about you being a state legislator, and you always have tried to make yourself available. And I don't think it was just me. I think it was anyone that you could make time for. Where did that come from?
Well, it comes from experience. It comes from longevity. When you live life, life lives you. And it just happens. I'm very honored to have that kind of insight and perspective about life.
So my question becomes, were you born for this? I mean, the impetus, the motivation of Defining Moments, this program, when the Lord said, I want you to do this program, which is an extension of my ministry, the motivation of this program is to inspire people, is to encourage people, and even challenge people to, one, embrace their purpose, their divine purpose, and to live it with the spirit of excellence, knowing this, that we're not here incidentally, accidentally, but we're here providentially. And so there's no stress. There's no stress when you live in the purpose that God created you for. All right, and it seems that you are living your George Flaggs is living your purpose.
Well, it's you can't do anything unless you make it look simple and you make it look easy. You got to do both of those things to keep it simple and make it look easy. And how you do that is that you narrow your focus. You can't be everything.
Oh.
You can't be everybody.
My goodness.
You can't be everywhere. So you have to limit yourself to where you are in that place and time.
I feel like I'm in a classroom. I mean, is your book ready for print yet? I want to be one of the first ones to get it, Mayor.
Well, if I print it, I want to die the next day.
Because it's one of those tell-all.
I'm telling you that. I've seen a lot of things. I've done a lot of things, and I'm just telling you, I'm absolutely honored that I've lived the life that I've lived. And I say this to anybody, is that live and be who you are. Be yourself.
Oh, that's good. Mayor, and there are people watching. I know they are watching. Because I'm looking at the numbers, and there are people responding. There are people texting me. I can't open up the phone lines. Let me tell you something. I will get on the mayor's schedule, and before the end of the year, hopefully, he'll come back. We'll be in a new studio setting. I told you a couple of weeks ago I have an incredible announcement to make. In about another week, I have some exciting. I gave Mayor Flaggs a little glimpse of something. And, when you have people walking alongside of you, you want to include them because you know that you didn't get here by yourself. You have people that sow into you. And I gave him a little glimpse of something. And the next time that you see him, then he will be in that particular environment. But you stay tuned because I think next week I'm going to share the news of the timeline of some very exciting things that we've been working on really for the last couple of years. And now it is coming to pass. You get here not of your own volition, not of yourself. I don't know anybody that's self-made. And we were never meant to exist isolated. We were meant to exist in communion, to habitate with one another. And so you're saying, Mayor Flaggs, that, you didn't get here alone, but you got here as a result of a collaboration of relationships.
Many, many, many people. I can't begin to name, from Dr. Martin Luther King, from the many people that I stand on their shoulders
The
because
John Lewis's,
the John Lewis,
the Maynard Jacksons,
Maynard Jackson,
the Coleman Young.
all those people are who I am on the inside of me.
Wow.
Colin Powell, Bill Clinton. It's just so many people that paved the way for me to be able to benefit from their experience, and I try to do that in my daily living.
So for those people who they're trying to skirt hard times, I mean, you got to put the work in. I mean, it's like if you want to build muscles, you got to lift weights. But for those persons that are impatient with the process, because it seems to me you've gone through the process, how would you encourage them? I want you to look at them right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care, because there's some folks that are watching to say, I'm too old to accomplish it, or I've made some bad decisions. Mayor Flags, what would you tell them?
Let me just say this, is that Dr. Martin Luther King said it best. It's always right to do what's right.
Wow.
And when you do that, you can become whoever you are. Obama proved to the world that he could be president for this United States. He did it twice, and I'm thankful for that. But what you have to do is find out within yourself who you are and who you want to be. And when you do that, you can follow God's purpose. I ask myself every morning, God, what do you want me to do today? And then I do that.
So it's obvious that you're a man of faith. So, were you reared in a home that motivated you, that being average and failing and wasn't an option?
Well, let me just say this, is that I was reared in a home where education was no option. That you had to get an education because dad and mom instilled it in you. You know why? Because they didn't have it. And they knew that if you want to be successful in life, you had to get your education first. And so all of us got the same opportunity to get that education. And those that didn't get it, didn't want it. But we all benefited from a teaching around the table, as my mother and my father taught us. And they taught us the good and the bad.
So I've been around you, and you are constantly being interviewed. And it seems as though you have become, the last 8 or 9 years, for economic development in the state of Mississippi, in the region, even in the country. When reporters want to go to someone that's credible about the economy, about crime, about tourism, out of all of the voices that they can go to, they seem to find you.
Well, there's a reason for that, because I'm the type guy that's going to be transparent. I'm the type guy that's going to be straight up with you. And I don't sugarcoat it, but at the same time, I know how to do economics. I know how the supplies, I know how capitalism works. And I've looked at it, and I've worked with, but the key to any economic development is to collaboration.
Oh,
You've
that's
got
good.
to be able to collaborate with those that know what they're doing.
Mary, you just said something powerful. You said the key to economic development, and for that, I'll even take it a step further, an addendum. The key to success is being able to collaborate with others, right?
Absolutely. You got to be able to work, and that's the reason why relationships matter, experience matter, honesty matters, integrity matters, and that's what you have to do. You have to have a guide that guides you through it all.
So I'm going to say this, all right, because some of the appointments that you've received as in chairmanship, they were of a different party.
Absolutely.
Than you, but yet they had confidence in you, not being partisan. They had confidence in you to say, George or State Representative George Flags, he'll look past partisan politics, and he's going to do what's right by the people.
Well, I had a lawyer tell me one time that I thought I was Moses, and I don't think I'm Moses, but I may be his brother. But I can tell you this: I can tell you this is that if you give me 3 equations, I can probably solve them all.
If we give you 3 equations, you probably can solve them
I
all.
can solve them all. What you have to do is have all the cards on the table faced up. You can't play cards if you don't know what's in the deck.
Hold on. All right. I'm running out of paper here. You can't play cards if you don't know what's in the deck.
What's in the deck? And the master at playing cards is somebody that knows the card and knows what's missing. Because if you don't know what's missing, you don't know how to play cards. It's like
So how would you parallel that to life?
it is life.
It is. Ooh, that's good.
It's life because of the fact you do. Let me just share with you this, and I know I'm jumping around.
No, you're not jumping around.
But let me share something. There's a book by Julia Johnson. It's called Jesus the CEO. A lady gave that to me. And you know, that book is about how Jesus walked. He performed miracles. He did all the things that he wanted to do. And he walked parallel with that. So I try to walk parallel. You notice I don't never ask for nothing.
You never. I've never known you to.
You know, I never.
But I've seen you as a giver.
Right, but I don't have my name on nothing.
You don't.
Unless they put it on there. But what I'm saying to you is that you have to be able to deliver for people. I'm sometimes called a mailman. There's a young lady come in my office every day, and she cried about her light bill. And I said, I tell you what, if you come here once a month, I give you what it takes.
Wow.
To make that light bill do.
Wow.
I know what I do is share. You have not because you ask not.
And is that because out of the years that I've known you as a legislator and now as a 3-term mayor, I haven't seen you with a posse. I'm not seeing you with a posse with handlers around you. I've never seen you with that. I've never seen you crisscrossing the state or the United States, state of Mississippi, United States, in a private jet with an entourage carrying your bag. I've seen you carry your own bags. I've seen you walk amongst the people. And that's probably why, you know, you have been a successful mayor and will continue to be a successful mayor.
Well, don't tell my secrets now, because I got to get out of here and get back to to Vicksburg.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
So look like I'm going to have to go another route.
But
let me just say this, that I love being who I am and doing what I do because of the fact it works. You don't have to have, Ron Reagan said it best. He said that the person that don't care about what it is that they're doing, they get bored doing. They don't have to get credit to themselves. They just do it. I don't look at social media. I just don't look at it because it gets in my head. But people talk about me all the time. My wife told me last night that my children thought that there was some issues with me because of how people talked about me on social media. I asked her, I said, did they know I don't care?
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But if you got something constructive to tell me.
Yeah.
And I listen.
And you know what? Gossip is a distraction.
Absolutely.
And if you're not careful, because if you listen to the positives, then you've got to listen to the negatives.
Absolutely.
And if you're not careful, then you will govern according to the gossip, and those things become a distraction, right?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, the Honorable George Flaggs, on Defining Moments. You stay tuned. We'll be right back. Wow. I know you got your pencil and pen out. I'm 3 pages deep. Stay tuned. And so a piece of advice, not just with how to legislate and how to develop policy, but you're saying it's good for life, man. Just stay focused on what you're supposed to do.
Right. Of course,
and it'll take care of itself.
Yeah, I'm an old basketball player. And you always watch
Didn't
the
know
waist.
that.
You always watch the person's waist. And when you're shooting, you always watch the front of the rim.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Because if not, then you'll become distracted.
Distracted. You got to be focused.
I know that you constantly pour into younger people, and I hope there are some younger people whether you're considering public serving, a life of public service, or just business, what would be one of the keys that you would share with young people who are either they're thinking about going into business, or they're thinking about entering a life of politics? What would you tell them?
What's try to search your heart, your guts, and then just want to make a difference. You got to be able to define yourself in a different way. You got to be able to make it different. You got to be able to make profit come from being different. That's the profit and different is first cousin. You got to be able to do that, and that's what makes it work. I hear all the time where people always blaming me for what not blaming. Well, they do blame, but anyway, they put me in everything. But you can't let that bother you. You have to stay focused. You have to stay humble, and then the rest of it will work its way out.
You know, there's an old song, and I'm sure you're familiar with it because you're a student of the Bible, and you are churching. There's a song that says, "Let the life that I live speak for me."
Absolutely.
You know,
let it speak for me.
If you're doing the work, man, you don't have to get out there and hold a sign.
Right.
It'll speak for itself.
Right.
So listen, let's talk about the city of Vicksburg. Because I tell you what, if you left Vicksburg 20 years ago, and you're passing through and you want to come back to Vicksburg, it's not the same Vicksburg, because you have done a lot of economic development in the city of Vicksburg. When you said, I'm going to leave the legislature, what motivated you to say, I want to help my city out?
I want to make a difference, and at the same time, I want to leave the city of Vicksburg better than I found it, and I think I've done that. I think I've done all the things that I've said because I'm focused. The things that I want to do now is what creates Vicksburg. I don't know whether you know or not, we're celebrating 200 years of history.
Wow.
Now, I'd never dreamed that I'd be mayor of the city of Vicksburg 200 years.
Wow.
From then. We developed that city around the things that matters to that city. And now
quality of life.
Yeah. Downtown is thriving. Now we got to go out and create eliminate some of the blackness.
Yeah. So, you know what, I was talking earlier about some of the tourism, and I want to talk about that because I want everybody to hear it when we come from commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your comments and thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. My guest today is George Flax. He's the Honorable Mayor of the city of Vicksburg. He served for decades. And it don't seem like you don't look old enough to have served in decades nowhere, you know. But you've put your time in state legislature, and you were very, very effective for your district. And you had access to the governor's office.
Right.
You know,
every governor.
Every governor and even presidents.
Right.
Why is that?
Because it's important. You have to follow the money. And they come to my office for money. We have to go to the government, state government, for money. We have to go to the president for money. And in fact, just yesterday, day before yesterday, I had to write a letter to the congressional delegation in the White House about how important it is to keep the AmeriCorps on the ground in Vicksburg. But ironically, folks don't know it, but I was one of the ones with Steve Hollins that found that. Steve Hollins brought the idea to me, and so we had to get legislation to do it with Mike Cheney and everything. So, I mean, I don't go out there and tear up a newspaper because it didn't call my name. I didn't put my picture in it. I just make certain that I know what I know.
And in order to be effective, and I got to tell you what, and I've got to believe, in order for the federal government or the White House or the state government or the governor to give credibility to that or give attention to that letter, they've got to see who signed that letter.
Well,
And that signature says George Flagg,
right.
And they got to equate the fact of your credibility and your character and the relationship that you have with them. Because I think you were speaking to that earlier. It's really about relationship, isn't it?
That's all it is. Building relationship. I wouldn't be in politics. I wouldn't go into politics if I didn't go in there with the mindset to build relationship. Relationship is the next step up.
In anything, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Whether it's your marriage, whether it is business, whether it is politics, whether it is church, it's all about relationship, isn't it?
It's all about relationships.
So you said something, and stopping short of thinking that I can correct you, but I just want to give a little bit more verbiage to it. You said you've done all that you said that you can do. I think you got a whole lot more to do. I think you've accomplished a lot of things and everything that you said you're going to do first, second, third phase, but I think you got 4, 5, and 6 more phases.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if I said that I've done all I can do,
No, you haven't.
Then I have not.
Right.
I want to
That's
clarify.
that's
I'm with
right.
you. I agree with you.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm glad you brought that point back
There's
up,
a whole lot more win in you,
because
man.
I want to be on that flight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, you in second quarter, man. And
Yeah,
there's a third and there's a fourth quarter, right?
My buddy Chauncey tell me that all the time.
Yeah, you got a third and a fourth quarter
Right.
in you. Listen, you just getting started. But do you think and I keep going back to this because what I'm hearing, you're not saying this is what I read in a book, even though you're well read. But all of the knowledge that you are spouting out is because of not only read academic knowledge and exposure, because you've lived it as well, right? You have the experience.
Well, I've had the exposure, and anybody tell
That's
you
good.
that exposure doesn't deliver it, then they wrong. You can read, and you can write, and you can do all these things, but you have to have exposure. I've been in the White House 19 times,
Wow.
and I'm co-chairman of the River Commission thing. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to have some understanding of where you're going. If you can't go if you're not prepared.
And you can't be haphazard about it.
No, absolutely not. You got to have confidence, and my confidence comes from my faith.
You're reading my brain, by the way.
Right.
Get out of my brain. Because I was going to ask, you can create a plan, but you got to make sure, and particularly if you're a person of faith, that you submit your plan to the Lord.
Right, absolutely.
Because he will either bless that plan, affirm that plan, or say, now you've given me my thought, but because you have confidence in me, I need to rework that plan.
But when God tell you no, you can't stop there. You have to keep going, because that may mean it may not be the time.
Oh, come on, man.
The timing might not be right.
Come on.
Or there's a lot of things that may not be. That plan may need perfected.
Mm.
And when you perfect that plan, then you can get it. I ran in 97. Won't tell you who I ran against because I got my butt beat. But anyway, for mayor.
Yeah.
But when I had everything, and then when I turned around and didn't have a little nothing, I won big time.
Wow.
But so
what is the moral behind that?
The moral is that you can't be ready until God gets you ready.
Ooh,
you
look
can't
at
take a blessing.
Look at him, Mayor. Look at him. I want you to encourage people.
You can't take a blessing if you're not ready for that blessing.
Mm.
And it's all about being blessed to be blessed and to bless others.
It's all about time. And I agree with you. I've said this behind the pulpit, across the pulpit many times. I say God answers in 3 ways: yes, no, or wait.
Absolutely.
Because it could be the right blessing, but the wrong season.
Absolutely.
And if you're trying to circumvent that, that's like cutting a caterpillar out trying to get the butterfly, and you end up killing the butterfly.
Amen. I can't say it no better than what you said because of the fact that you're biblical. But of course, but what I'm saying is to you is that you have to follow the principle and guidance of God.
So, city of Vicksburg, it's a beautiful city.
Right.
And and a lot of folk don't know this, that the Mississippi River stretched from Illinois all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico.
No, it starts in
New Orleans.
It starts in
Ohio,
and go all the way down to
the Gulf of America now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but it stops in Vicksburg.
Right.
And you've updated accommodations, like a walkway for the tourists to come to the city.
Absolutely.
So that's another form of tourism that you've created.
Right. What we've done is create a pathway in which, I don't care how high the water gets, if they can get in there, they can walk across that pathway or that pedestrian walk,
right,
and go straight on into the city of Vicksburg. And it came by government funds.
Wow.
And I think that was important. That money was there, that plan was there before I got there. But it came into existence while I was there.
Well, it's a beautiful city. So, you're running for another term,
right?
So, what do you hope to accomplish? No, I don't think hope to accomplish, because I've known you, when you put your mind to it, you're gonna do. So, what is your goal to accomplish?
Well, there's a couple things. I really want to,
and I want my producer to pull up your website.
I really want to work with Lieutenant Governor Holzman in the state of Mississippi to create that interpreter center, which is in the park, which would allow us to tell the whole story about the war. And then I want to be able I want to be able to take that and take Clay Street and improve it all the way down to the river. And put all the utilities underground, and then what I want to do next is do a marina.
That's serious.
Right.
A marina
on some property, and then at the same time, if I don't do nothing else, I want to eliminate the blackness in Vicksburg, because I believe I can do it with the land that's available and what we got to come. I don't want to let it out, but I think the vision of mine is to make certain that we can do that.
Well, once you let it out, and you can talk about it, will you let us know so we can help let it out for you?
We'll do it.
So, and maybe people don't know that when you see a contestant at Miss America, in the Miss America pageant from the state of Mississippi, then she originated from the city of Vicksburg, didn't
Absolutely. Been there for about 50-some years.
50-some years.
Yes, absolutely.
Miss Mississippi is crowned in the city of Vicksburg.
Right.
And that's major.
And I've been in those chairs for at least 12 years, and hope to be there another 4 more years.
I've seen you in those. Man, listen, you're a dapper kind of a fellow too. Now listen, if anybody has any misconceptions, Mayor Flaggs, I don't think he goes out of his way to be a haberdasher dresser, but he's clean when he steps before a mic in an official capacity. Of course, you're always well groomed no matter where you go. But so if people really want to support you in your endeavor, how can they support you? Of course, for those of you that are streaming, you can see his Facebook page listed. But you'll always accept support, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. And it's always mayor@vicksburg.org.
Right.
Or it's always, I guess I can say this, re-elect George Flagg for mayor.
Say it. Listen, you're our friend.
Well, re-elect George Flagg for mayor in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Yeah.
From wherever you are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And guess what? Though you may not live in the state, or you may not live in the city, wherever your money is, you can always send it to the campaign, can't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There are people that you track, and that they have the capacity to get the job done. And at every stop, I'm telling you, all you got to do is search the record, ladies and gentlemen. You're one of those people that have been able to get the job done. And I think it's such a mystery. I think the lesson needs to be taught, and I think you're the teacher that can teach the lesson. Don't allow the letter behind your name interfere with your capacity to do business and to look out for the welfare and the quality of life for your constituents.
Oh, absolutely.
You are masterful at that.
Well, I don't get as much credit, but I take the credit. I'm kind of like my granddaughter. When she came home and said, "Dad, I know what a politician is," she said, he blames everybody and he takes all the credit. I said, "No, I'm a statesman."
Yeah, that's right. And there's a difference. But once again, it's about relationship.
Right.
So do you have, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but whether it is of old or whether it is current, you are a mentor of mine. But do you have people that you kind of watch and say, okay, and they are a strong credibility and strong level of integrity, and they are doing the right thing, and they are making a difference? Do you have whether it's a group of people that you kind of like that they've really affected my life?
Well, there's a lot of people that living and not living that affected my life.
Yeah.
I never will forget Miss T.P. Williams when she was my algebra teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I never will forget Miss Watson and those people. I never will forget. You said Zemarine Murphy?
Yeah.
Zemarine Murphy.
A member of my church. Let me tell you something. She and Pam Segrist, the sisters, man, they made a tremendous difference in my ministry.
Right. And what you have to do is look at the people that. And Daddy used to say this, and I never will forget it. He would never give me credit for this. The man that's there, J.E. Sturgis, he said that I want you to follow Mr. Sturgis. And I don't care what Mr. Sturgis said about me. My daddy believed it.
Wow.
And he whooped my butt. And I'm telling you. And it's just ironic that I was able to name a street after him in his honor.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's very admirable.
Right.
I want you to look at the people, whether young or middle age or wherever you are, and I just want you to encourage them that how important it is for them to have a mentor to walk alongside of them, because no one was created to walk alone.
Well, you have to be yourself, number one, and you have to believe in God, and at the same time, you have to be strong in what you believe in, and you have to be persistent, and then you have to be honorable with that.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
And what happens with that is that I just don't believe nobody it's not what they want to be unless they don't want to be it. And I'm not talking about those folks that perhaps have some psychological things going on with them. I'm just telling you is that you can do this. I encourage everybody. Good. You don't have to. And another thing, and I hate to skip a thing, don't ever call a child bad. Because if you do, you're going to make them bad. Woo. But what you need to do is encourage him, love him, and give him these old antidotes and type things.
So if you call, in other words, whatever you call it will manifest it like that.
Absolutely. You're a product of your environment.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is the Honorable George Flaggs. He is the mayor of Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I tell you what, we're gleaning a lot of information. You stay tuned. We'll be right back. So, Mayor Flaggs, you said what matters is what matters most.
Right.
Extrapolate that. Peel that on your back for me.
Well, what you have to do is make it matter. And if it matters most to you, then it matters most, because of the fact is that you can't do anything if it doesn't matter. You got to have a reason, and you got to have for it to matter. Like winning. I believe in winning at all costs. And you can do that. But
if you stay focused on it.
If you stay focused and keep your faith.
So I now we have a lot of delivery drivers, and right now they're listening to a commercial. All right. So we have a lot of delivery drivers that drive around the city, and I want them to hear this part that's coming up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for streaming in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for those that have come back and listen to the podcast. You stay tuned. In about a week, we have a huge announcement to make, and I think you're going to be very excited. Stay tuned. So, Mayor Flags, my question: people are running around in the times that we're living. They're like running out of the house like the house is on fire, and they're screaming as if there's no hope, as if the sky is falling, as if, there's no tomorrow. You have calluses on your hands as a result that you've had your hand, figuratively speaking, to the plow for a long time, and you're not afraid of hard work. But I've noticed something about you as well, following you. You not only just work hard, you work smart.
Well,
Okay?
I think you have to.
And so what would you tell people that feel as though there's no hope for tomorrow? Because you just keep, I wonder when you sleep, I wonder really when you relax, because your schedule is full, but it's always for the benefit of the people.
Right. But let me just tell you this. It's two things you have to always keep in perspective. It's hope and belief. If you believe, there's hope. There's hope in your belief.
Oh.
And you can do this. What you have to do is make your mind up that you want to have hope and believe. I just believe that everybody can be successful, but it's all in the preparation.
Do you believe that the cards can be stacked against you such to a degree that you might as well give up? Now, let me put a little flavor on that, because you've sat in the seats of some pretty lofty positions. I mean, appropriations. That's where the money goes.
Right.
That's when you say where the money goes. You were part of choosing the commissioner for correction, state of Mississippi. That determines, law. If you don't have calm, you have anarchy or chaos.
Right.
If you don't have laws, then you have chaos. You've been a part of some groundbreaking decisions.
And that's because I've always used common sense. You can solve any equation with common sense, but what you have to do is let it guide you, and let it put you in the right perspective. You got to create the right mindset, and if you create the right mindset, there is hope. There is a belief. Of course, Deion Sanders was known somebody that brought I believe to Jackson State. It was there when he got there.
That's right. That's right.
But what he has to understand is that all he did is capitalize off of the phrase I believe.
I believe.
That's all he did. And then he instilled hope. He put it on the football field now. Kid you not. He brought some of the best in. That's the reason why I say that you got to have and be surrounded by the best.
That's good.
Of players. And when you do that, then it's easy to motivate. It's easy to encourage.
That's good.
Encourage those type people.
Mayor, I think you got a little preacher in you.
Well, not quite.
Man, I think you're close to it. Where do you we have about 7 minutes left, and I have really, really, really enjoyed this conversation, Mayor. And what you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing the man behind the title. Now you know why he governs the way he governs, and why he administers the way he administers, and how he's able to have so much success is because of what guides him, his guiding light. He just didn't come on the scene overnight. He may have been born at night, but not last night. You probably wasn't even born at night. But you're saying years and years of experience and mentorship.
Right. Well, another thing, we cannot look at people on TV and say that's my mentor. You got to get somebody from the neighborhood.
Wow.
Somebody from the community that is successful.
That's good.
And we
That's
can
good.
have multiple
That's right.
mentors. We got to have people that guides us.
That's right.
Somebody that I can go to.
That's right.
You got to have a go-to person.
That's right.
And when you can have that go-to person or that go-to place, like I can go around a bottle of water and I'm relieved.
Yeah.
You got to have that. All these
That's
things,
powerful.
all these things relieve you from your stress.
And you know what I've been taught, and that is so accurate. What I've always been taught is you can't be the smartest one in the room.
Absolutely
And
not.
you've got to be humble enough to know that you want people in the room equally or smarter than you so that they can feed into what you're trying to accomplish and help guide you there.
You said it best. You said it better than I can ever say it, and that is that if I'm the only person in the room, you probably in trouble.
Yeah.
But if I got somebody else in the room, that's 2 against 1.
But you know what? You said something before we came on the air, and I was just writing it down. I was writing it as fast as I could. You talked about strategy, and I said, what is one of the keys of your success? And you talked about organizational structure.
It's got to be. You got to be organized first, and then you got to be structured. And then when you fill that organization chart or that organization up, you got to have people that are functional, responsible for the deliverance of what they're doing. Because if you're not functioning, you don't. And too many times, too many people put their best friend in a place, in a position, or put personalities in a position. You have to put function. If you want to carry the wagon, don't look at the size of the mule. Just make sure he can pull the wagon.
Say that one more time. That's powerful.
Well, if you want,
I need to keep. Listen. I need to follow you around and just take notes.
If you want to pull the wagon, don't look at the mule. Just look at what you're pulling. It's simple. Life is so simple sometimes.
And we complicate it. With unnecessary weight.
Absolutely. And
we look at how we can as opposed to how we can.
Right.
And you know what? And I'll say this, the success, and I believe that we had many, the success that we had in our ministry at Triumph in Vicksburg, it necessarily wasn't because I was the sharpest knife in the drawer. It's because of the membership of Triumph. Man, I had some great. And so when the Lord said my season was up, I get asked this all the time. Someone said, what was the hardest thing about you leaving Triumph? I said, it wasn't the fact that God said your season's up, because when it's up, it's up. In fact, he extended it 6 more months because, I said, Lord, are you sure I didn't want to leave? He said, your season is up. But the hardest thing about me leaving Triumph was me leaving the people,
right.
Because they were my strength.
Absolutely.
They were my, they were my my encouragement. So a couple of things, and I know that there are too many to name. There are too many to name. What are you proudest the most about your accomplishments to date in Vicksburg as mayor?
That I'm mayor, and that I was mayor for.
That was good, wasn't it, D?
That I'm mayor, and that I was mayor during this time of 200 years celebration of the bicentennial. That's an
oxymoron.
That won't happen no more. I was blessed with that. That would not happen anymore in anybody's lifetime.
And if you research the history of Vicksburg, Mississippi,
absolutely.
If you research the history of Vicksburg, Mississippi, and you look and see who's mayor of Vicksburg, Mississippi, you will gain an appreciation that the favor of God is on this man's life.
And I didn't say that.
I see it.
Because you have to look at the pathway. You got to look at how Vicksburg got started.
Yeah.
You got to look what the sacrifice that everybody made in Vicksburg.
Yeah.
And what we had to accomplish and what we had to go through to get here. It's been a struggle, but I can tell you the story.
I know it. And I look forward to getting your books. If people like to support your campaign or support you, how can they do it again?
Re-elect George Flaggs, man.
Well, I tell you what, George Flaggs, it has been an honor to be your friend these past 25 plus years, and it has been quite an honor to have you on the program. I know you're on your way out of town, and you stop by. It's like I tell people all the time where I'm preaching. I said I stopped by this church on my way to heaven, to give them the word of God. So thank you for stopping by this studio today on your way out of town to another appointment.
Just remember, I didn't say what I could have said.
Well, maybe you'll put it in the book. But then, but hey, but then again, I don't want you to write the book because then you just said if you write the book, then you want the Lord to go ahead and take you to heaven.
Let me tell you, there's too many people going down.
Yeah. Well, don't write the book. Hold on.
I'm gonna keep it right here.
Keep it right there. Keep it right back. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Look forward to you joining us on Tuesday from 11 to 12 p.m. Always appreciate you. Mayor George Flax, thank you for being here.
And thank you.
Will you come back?
It was my honor and pleasure. Oh, definitely.
God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day, and I'll see you next Tuesday on Defining Moments.
Hey, my name is Kyle Reno, Senior Pastor at Cross Gates Baptist Church. Here's a defining moment from this last Sunday. 1 Corinthians 15:8 says, "Last of all, as one untimely born, he also appeared to me."